Hello everybody, welcome back. So we're going to look at XRP now, and a lot of people asking me, if I'm still bearish on it, and that I'm bearish on the market. So because of that, I'm kind of bearish on all coins at the moment. And when we're looking at XRP, there's a lot of people telling me about, it's on Coinbase, it's like 85% buyers, to sellers, and that sounds very positive, but if there's more to it than that, and basically just going on technical analysis, which is all I generally do. I very rarely get into fundamentals, and you can't really price fundamentals into a technical analysis chart. So I just go on technical analysis, and looking at technical analysis. There's a lot of things to tell me it just wants to go down, you see. So first of all, let's have a quick overview of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, again, like we've been saying, it looks like it wants to come down, and now we're testing this support zone for the first time in a few days. But what we've been expecting is for the support zone to be tested more and more, with wicks coming into it, and then eventually candle closes coming into it, and then the deeper the close, and then eventually wicks coming beneath it, and then falling down to our sort of main target area, which is this level here at $6,600, where I kind of expect it to reverse at that point. So bearing that in mind, where we know that Bitcoin generally dictates the way that the market goes. Generally speaking, wherever Bitcoin goes, it will take everything else down with it. So you've got to put that into context. So just bear that in mind when looking at any coin, really, and that's where we're expecting Bitcoin to go. So I do expect other coins to follow its downtrend. So when we're looking at Bitcoin on the daily, let's just go back to the daily chart on Bitcoin. It looks actually quite a lot different to XRP, which looks quite positive. XRP, that's annoying. I'm bringing that back in here. XRP actually looks like it wants to recover at this point, which is pretty good. It's kind of the opposite of what I'm saying in the long term, and it could be there to kind of fool us. But whether it's going up or whether it's going down, we've got to look at areas of support and areas of resistance. So if Bitcoin drops today, what's going to happen to XRP? But first of all, let's have a look at some support and resistance levels. So the first thing we've got to look at is if we are going to continue with this uptrend, which it looks like we are going to. We're being rejected from these areas here. We've got all these three wicks here, plus these two candle closes, all sort of having a bit of a struggle to get above this level here, which is 25.6 cent. If that were to get broken, which it might do, we've got this, which is the centre of the Bollinger Band on the daily, but it also coincides with the bottom of this red cloud here, and that would be the top area of resistance before I would expect it to be rejected, which is 26.3 cents. We could reach all the way up to there before we have a significant pullback. So bear that in mind. So we've got 26.3 cent. Okay, so just remember that figure. So we've got the cross on the Ichimoku cloud here, which took place after the big drop, which would suggest a continuation of the move down. It took place underneath the cloud, so it's looking pretty bearish. Basically, it wants to continue downwards, according to the technical analysis, not what we've seen over this last week or more. But just on the TA side of things, it looks like it wants to have a continuation down, despite what you're seeing here. So just bear that in mind. Don't shoot me straight away. It would suggest it wants to continue down. All right. So that would, to me, I would expect to be at least getting to these lows, 23.2 cent, but probably lower. Let's have a look at some lower time frames. So we'll go to the 12 hourly, see what the 12 hourly looks like. So remember those figures that we said, 26.3 cent. The top of this 12-hour Bollinger Band is 26.1 cents, so not too far away. And you can see now that we're the rejection point, it seems to be occurring at or just beneath the green 50 EMA, where we rejected 1, 2, 3. This didn't get quite close to it, but you could class it as a 4 and a 5, and right today it looks like a 6. If we were to break above there's a chance that we could go bullish, but probably be rejected at the top or just above, around about that area. Like I say, between 26, but if there was a wick going straight above there, that 26.3 would only just be a little bit above the 12-hour Bollinger Band. One thing that concerned me when I look on the 12 hourly though, and the 12 hourly does carry a lot of weight to it, it's not an insignificant chart to be looking at, is that we do have another fresh cross here with the Ichimoku cloud that's just happened a few, was this be about 2 days ago now? 2 days ago at this price action here. That would suggest to me that it wants to come down, and again, just as we had a cross on the daily, it wants to come down. If we measure that down to let's just say these levels down to I expect around 16 cent would be its absolute lowest. Like I was saying with Bitcoin, its absolute lowest would be about $6,600. So if we measure that down 36% down to our target of 16 cent, it would be about a 35% decrease, which would generally coincide with a bit of a death cross. This isn't a death cross. This is a conversion line baseline cross, which is different. It doesn't have you can't map out an exact figure of where it's going to drop to. But what you can say is that it wants to continue with its movement. So we had this was our, if we imagine this being on the daily, so we dropped down here, we had a cross on the baseline here. Now we've had a cross on the baseline here. It looks like to me it just wants to continue. Plus we're beneath all the red clouds. We do have an opportunity to make it all the way up to this level here, which would be 28 cents, but I very much doubt that that's going to happen. Over the next couple of days we'll be back into the same support levels here. This first support being 26.27, so almost 26.3. So again, we're going to find ourselves at that main level before we get rejected. And then as the days unfold, the cloud is actually going to get lower, which means that the chance of us being rejected at lower levels is more likely. And again, the longer we stay down in the dumps around here, the more likely it is we'll be rejected at lower levels. Falling, like I say, back down beneath 20 cents at least, but the bottom level I would say will be about 16 cents for an XRP coin before it turns around. And when it does turn around, it could turn around real quick and it could rocket massively. It'd be an extremely attractive price to buy it at. But bear in mind, I just go on technical analysis. I don't go on anything else. So and for the people that really love this coin, look, there's a place in my heart for this coin. I've made hundreds of thousands of pounds on this coin a few years ago. I'm always going to love it for that reason. But looking at it now, it doesn't look like it wants to do that at the moment. It wants to do the opposite. Unless you want to short this coin, it doesn't look like it wants to do anything else. So just to recap, we're being rejected now. It looks a bit more obvious. We're being rejected on this green 50 EMA on the 12 hourly. So let's just take it down another notch. Let's go down to the 4 hourly, see if there's anything to pinpoint on the 4 hourly. And again, it's not going to look very exciting at the moment because it's just a 4 hourly on sort of like a trickle up from our big plummet that we had down in the whole market. I'm not talking about just XRP. The entire market did this. Some coins did it a lot worse than others. And actually, in XRP's credit, it has recovered much better than other coins. So when we're looking at this, it looks a lot messier, to be honest with you. It's not the greatest chart to be looking at it, to be honest with you. However, in its favour, it's above the cloud now. We've got a relatively good spread, plus a cross of the conversion of the baseline, so we might be looking at a continuation up to that 26.3 cent area before a significant rejection. We might be hanging around this area a little bit, but the continuation is clear to me on the daily and the 4 hourly. So I would expect to see a 20 cent XRP token in the not too distant future, and perhaps, maybe, dipping into and going to the teens and maybe reversing it around 16 cent. But a 20 cent XRP, I would be pretty sure in saying that that's the more likely scenario. We're going to see a coin of that level before we see anything else. Just going on the technical analysis, just going on the signals that we see here. But again, it has shown relative strength. And I'm part of a Telegram group, and I do occasionally look into other analysis as well. And there's a lot of people saying that there's a lot of weight to be carried on that Coinbase statistic, but that could simply just be what's keeping it at this level. And to hear of something along those lines of 85% buyers for sellers, it hasn't really done anything special. All it's done is made a gradual uptrend, which is still good, a gradual uptrend in what I would consider a relatively bearish time. So it looks quite good in the short term, but I do expect it to completely crumble down and go back down to into the towards 20 cent or lower. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.